Welcome to the Call the Vet Show, the podcast that helps pet parents understand and optimize the health of their furry family so they can live the full and happy life you want for them. And here's your host, veterinarian Dr. Alex Avery.
Hello, kia ora. Welcome to another episode of the Call the Vet Show. I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex, and this week I'm continuing the theme of allergies, of allergic disease. It's probably the most common frustration for pet parents and veterinarians alike. It's estimated that about 20% of all dogs are going to experience some form of allergic disease in their life. So that gives you an idea. 1 in 5 dogs. It's hugely common, and it's up there as one of the most impactful diseases on a dog's quality of life. So, you'll often hear me talking about obesity being a problem, arthritis, dental disease, but actually with 1 in 5 dogs affected by allergies, that has to be included in this list of conditions that really make our dogs miserable. Allergies are lifelong in many instances. They can be difficult to treat. They can be frustrating to manage. Just when you think you're getting on top of things, the season changes, a flare comes along, something else happens, and your dog is itching, scratching, and they are miserable. So it's important, I think, for everyone to be aware of allergies as a problem or a potential problem for their dog. But if your dog does have an itch, even if it's mild and seemingly insignificant, it could be a sign that allergies are hiding under the surface and are going to be a problem in the future. And if you know about it, you can take action sooner, and that's going to improve your chances of successfully managing them. Now, if your dog does have allergies, if they are itching slightly, I have actually produced an ebook that dives deep into the holistic control and the rapid relief of allergies in dogs. It's called Dog Allergy First Aid. I'd love for you to check it out. You can go to ourpetshealth.com/allergy first aid. And if you put in the promo code podcast, you'll get 10% off as well. So I love doing this podcast, and I really appreciate you listening. So I'd love to give you that 10% discount as well. But let's jump into the different types of allergies, because there are, maybe 3 main categories with a kind of a bonus subcategory, if you like. Now, we'll start with maybe the least common, although the one that people put a disproportionate emphasis on, and this is food allergies. So food allergies is often the underlying factor that is given as a cause of itch when I head into Facebook forums and different online chat groups and that kind of thing. And I have to say, I often don't spend a huge amount of time there because I can get very frustrated very quickly. But food allergies are definitely a problem. This is where a dog is itchy because of the food that they are eating. And I think this is an important differentiation, because allergies cause dogs to be itchy, or food allergies cause dogs to be itchy, whereas a food intolerance, where the food kind of just disagrees with their guts, if you like, can cause vomiting and diarrhea. So there is a difference, but from a true allergy point of view, food allergies cause itchy skin. Now, actually, only 10% of allergic dogs have a true food allergy. So, that's a reasonably significant number of dogs as a whole, but actually a relatively minor cause of allergies. And I wonder, if you've kind of dived into this topic in the past, I wonder if you're surprised to hear that figure. But food allergy is definitely something to have a little think about. Actually, in the next episode, I'm going to be going through all of the different kind of causes for these allergies, the most common, kind of breaking down the most common culprits, if you like. But food allergies is number 1. Now, the next one, and probably the most common, is flea allergic dermatitis, so a flea allergy. Now, the difference in why a flea allergy causes a dog to itch compared to just the fact that dogs with fleas itch is that your non-allergic dog is going to itch because the flea bites cause physical trauma, damage to the skin that actually causes irritation that makes your dog itchy, and so they scratch. With our allergic dogs, our flea allergic dogs, it's actually the presence of saliva within the skin. So when the flea feeds, your dog is exposed to the flea saliva. It's an allergy to that saliva that the immune system overreacts to, which is essentially what an allergy is, and causes your dog's skin to become inflamed, not always just in the area that the flea has bitten. And also it can only take maybe 1 or 2 flea bites to set an allergic dog off scratching. So this is the real difference as well. For those that are seriously flea allergic, 1 or 2 flea bites is going to cause them to start tearing themselves to pieces. So flea allergic dermatitis, hugely common. And then the final kind of general category, if you like, is something called environmental allergies, atopic dermatitis or atopy. And this is where your dog is allergic to substances in the wider environment as a whole that then cause them to become itchy. And we can think of atopy or atopic dermatitis as like a hay fever for our dogs, but rather than, with us, we get sniffly and snuffly, our eyes start running, our nose runs, our dogs get itchy skin. Now, one real key differentiator for atopic dermatitis is that we see a seasonal pattern. So it will be maybe for 1 month of the year, 2 months of the year to begin with, spring, summer, maybe autumn, depending on what they're allergic to. Where they are itching and scratching, and then for the rest of the year actually their skin is nice and settled and they don't have a problem. The problem with this is that actually as a dog gets older, that seasonal pattern increases, so it goes to 2, maybe to 3 or 4 months of the year, and ultimately can become a year-round problem. So if you've got an older dog that's been suffering from itching in general for a while, it might be that it becomes a year-round issue. Also, you've got certain breeds that are more affected. The West Highland White Terrier is a classic example, but often our kind of small white fluffies are more prone to getting these allergies, but it can affect absolutely every single breed. And then the final kind of bonus, if you like, category of allergies are our insect bite, bee sting allergies, where, the classic here is that I'll get a younger dog who is exuberantly chasing the first bee or wasp of summer around the garden, and they actually get hold of it because maybe it's a bit cold and they're drowsier and it's easier to catch for your dog. And they get a sting in the lip, they get a sting on the tongue, and then that can rapidly swell. Now, thankfully, the number of times where this is incredibly serious and life-threatening is very small. I've had to perform a tracheotomy in a single dog whose throat swelled up because of a bite or a sting, even though it's something that I see on a fairly regular basis. The problem, though, is that this can happen incredibly quickly. So there's no way to predict whether your dog is going to react to an insect bite or a sting. And within 20, 30 minutes, even sooner, if they're anaphylactic, it can be much sooner, their airways are going to swell. It might be that they start to develop vomiting or diarrhea. They start to struggle to breathe. And it can absolutely be life-threatening. So if you notice any swelling, I would definitely recommend that you head down to the vet clinic sooner rather than later, because a simple injection administered promptly can save that from ever being a problem for your dog. So that's kind of a breakdown in all of the different allergies that our dogs can suffer from. Itch, it's a hugely common problem. It's a frustrating condition to treat, whatever the underlying allergy is. And knowing a little bit about it can just help set you on the right path. Next week, I'm going to be breaking this down into more detail into what the most common allergens are and actually what an allergen is. So make sure you join me for that episode. But until then, I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.
That's it for this episode of the Call the Vet Show. Be sure to visit callthevet.org to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. We'll see you next time.